So we had a second order differential equation, second order partial differential equation in the equation of wave, so the wave equation. Now we'll convert it to two second order complete differential equations. So we can convert them by assigning or splitting the terms. So we had combined spatial and temporal coordinates. Now we can assume a solution which has separated, or we are using the concept of separating the variables. So we can assume a solution which is something like this: x of or w of x. I can take w of x, which is used here. So w of x into t of t. So the solution, let this be the solution, which was w of x comma t of the partial differential equation which we had earlier. Let this be the solution. Then we are going to substitute it back, and then we'll get two differential equation which I have shown earlier. But the process is useless. It's not required for solving problem also. So the result is going to be useful to us. So I'm just going to describe the result directly. So we have got the two solutions, which was w of x and t of t. So we have separated those, and we have got the functions now. And now we can again combine those and get the w of x comma t, that is the combined equation or the combined solution. Now the aim is to get constant a and b from boundary conditions and get c and d from initial conditions. Why are we saying this? Because the a and b are the constants for w of x, and the w of x means it is spatial coordinates. So spatial means it's a boundary condition, and c and d means it's initial conditions or temporal conditions. Here we need not say boundary conditions. They are going to be a function of time, so they are just coming from the temporal coordinates or initial condition. So we can have different conditions. If I am going to take such a condition where the displacement are zero at both the ends, that is, it is simply supported directly or pinned at both the ends, then these are the conditions. When I am putting these conditions back in my original equation of w of x comma t, and I'm getting the answer. So I'm having two brackets. If I put this directly equal to zero, that means t of t or the function t is equal to zero. That means there are no vibration with time, or there is no variation with time, and there are not going to be vibration, because w x comma t will always be equal to zero because t of t is zero. So we cannot put the second part is equal to zero. That's why we need to put first bracket is equal to zero. That means I'm going to put a is equal to zero. Now when I put the second condition, this is the condition I'm getting: wl comma t is equal to zero, which is from here, is equal to b sine of wl by c. This c in the denominator inside the sine function is the speed, wave speed, and this c and d are the constants. So please bear with that, the small c and capital C. They should be easily understandable. But again, I cannot put the second bracket is equal to zero, because that will completely make my w or the response is equal to zero. So I'm going to put the other part is equal to zero. Now if I put b is equal to zero, then also my a is already zero. So if I put b is equal to zero, that means my w will always be zero irrespective of the time, because the a was zero. So I cannot put b also at zero. So my only option will be sine wl by c is equal to zero. That means my wl by c is n pi, because sine is zero at n pi values. And now the w is the sorry, so I just need to make a clarification. The w, this w is the displacement in the z direction, while this w is the omega, that is the frequency of vibration. So the vibration are going to happen. So this w all are the vibration, the frequencies omega. So the omega l by c is n pi. So omega n will be n pi c by l. So this is just the formula which we have been using earlier. So this is the derivation, where c is the speed, l is the length, pi is the constant, and n, for different values of n, will have different natural frequencies. And n value starts from 0, 1, 2, 3 till infinite. So for infinite number of values, we'll have infinite natural frequencies, as we have discussed in the first video. So we have got the response, we have got the displacement in terms of x comma t, and that's all we have. So we have used the spatial or the boundary conditions already, but we have not used initial conditions. So we are still left with c and d as the the constants in our term, all other constants have been eliminated. So the normal mode response is this. You must remember this as the final equation, which is useful. Now for n is equal to 1, we'll have such a normal mode shape. For n is equal to 2, this is the normal mode shape. So this is single degree of freedom system, which we have been studying in the whole course. This is the 2 degree of freedom system, which I have introduced in the earlier topic. But this equation is now going to be helpful if I have 10 degrees of freedom and I can find the 10th natural frequency directly using this equation. And let's look at the final free vibration response. So the free vibration response means it is not vibrating at normal shapes, or normal mode response, or normal harmonic oscillations are not occurring. Normal mode shapes are not existing. It can be any general type of vibration, and they may not look like this. They have some random ways of vibrating. So in that case, we can have just a summation of all the functions which are possible from n is equal to 1 to infinite. That is just the linear combination of earlier things which we are taking. So for 2 degrees of freedom system, we got 2 normal modes, and for representing free vibration, we were taking linear combination of both the normal mode responses. Over here we have infinite normal mode responses, so we just need to take the summation of 1 to infinite. So all the normal mode responses are summed, and linear combination of those are going to give me a complete free vibration response. Just this is the final thing you need to remember. L is the length of string, n is the nth normal mode, x is distance. So starts from first normal mode right now. X is the distance from an end, that is x is equal to 0 to L. C is the speed or the wave velocity. The temporal vibration is very much similar to system doing SHM. If we ignore the spatial variation, so we had a SHM motion of the pendulum which we have seen earlier, and Cn and Dn. So these are the constants which will be which we need to eliminate using temporal boundary conditions or initial conditions. So they are going to change with time. So they come from initial condition, and from spatial terms constant we get the boundary conditions. So that's all. We'll stop over here. In the next video, we can look at just deriving the same thing, or we can look at the transverse vibration on a string or cable using the energy approach. So till now we have seen the Newton's second law approach, where we equated forces and did everything analysis. Then we can also use the energy approach. So we'll look at energy approach in the next video. Thank you.